Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our panel this afternoon, where we're asking a big question. Can AI and Web4 empower 9 billion? I'm your host, Kelsey Cheng from Caixin Global. In the digital area, AI and Web3 and now Web4 aren't just buzzwords. They're becoming powerful tools that are reshaping our world. Yet, our conversation today will extend beyond these technological innovations and address the need for ethical frameworks and collaboration. These two will be key to ensure that these innovations benefit all, regardless of where you're from and where you're at. We're very lucky today to have 5 esteemed guests joining us on the panel, and I'd like to introduce, starting from my left in alphabetical order, Mr. Stefano Benedikter, founder at Nuraxi, an AI company that develops longevity services, and Richard Benjamins, Chief Responsible AI Officer at Telefonica, the largest telecoms company in Spain, and Simeon Campos, co-founder at Safer AI, a developer of auditing infrastructure for general-purpose AI systems, and Li Ying, founder and managing partner at deep tech venture capital firm at Ma Capital, and last but not least, Jen Scott, founding partner at In Capital, a digital-forward asset management firm focusing on deep tech. Welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. So there's a lot to unpack here. Let's start with a broader question to kick us off, this really exciting topic. So which specific AI and Web4 technologies hold the most promise for A, society at large, and B, specific industries? In other words, what exactly are we talking about when we talk about AI and Web4 tech, and how can they be applied? Ying, as a longtime watcher of this deep tech space, could you help us break it down? Thank you.
Sure. I think it's not long ago when we were just talking about Web3, and now it's Web4. So it's within a year. It's changing very, very fast. And as we have the next number, it's usually an improvement over the current technology. So I think for Web4, I looked up the definition for it, and it's very diverse. It means different things to different people. But I think in general, it's an improvement over what we have today. So improvement, we need to understand what are the areas of changes or things that we can improve on. So one is the safety. For AI right now, it's not as safe in terms of data privacy issues. And also, a lot of the models are trained on copyrighted content, so the original authors doesn't have credit for that. And so all these could be solved or mitigated by using blockchain on top of AI. And another thing that currently the AI is, the generative model can be extended better is by connecting everything. So not just human, but a better relationship between human and things and machines. So I think the IoT, Internet of Things, adding AI, that would be very exciting. And as everybody knows, AI, the only companies that are making money are the ones that are selling hardware, like NVIDIA and TSMC. So how do we get the computing cost down? So a lot of people are talking about quantum computing plus AI. So I think a lot of very exciting technologies combined to enable the next generation of better AI and Web 3.0. So those all lumped together could be defined as Web 4.0.
Thank you so much for all of that comprehensive picture. So just zooming in on how specific companies has been driving positive impact of these advancements. Richard, could you tell us more about Telefonica's vision and work on promoting the ethical use of AI in the context of emerging tech, and how do they intersect with Telefonica's core business?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here in beautiful Hong Kong. Actually, so Telefonica started using AI and data solutions already many years ago. So currently we have more than 500 systems working every day across our footprint. And of course, we wondered already some years ago, so a huge opportunity, but also huge responsibility. So what can we do to make sure that those systems have positive impact only and avoid potential negative impact? Yeah? I'm focusing here especially on unintended negative consequences because all the users have a good purpose, optimization or increase revenues or whatever, but there can be negative side effects. So we started in 2018 when the first scandals were published around about the use of this technology, like discrimination, let's say, lack of explainability. We started with identifying principles. At that time, there were no global principles issued by the OECD or the UNESCO, so we had to come up with our own. We say all the use of AI should be fair, so it should not discriminate, should not have bias, it should be explainable and transparent when the use case does require that. It's not the same doing a recommendation of a song versus medical diagnosis. Should be with privacy and security, of course, and also should be human-centric and have proper human oversight if that is required. And of course, we want to do it across our value chain, because not only us, it's also if we buy or if we partner. Very important because the value chain of AI is very complex. Now, having those principles is already a challenge, and we published them already in 2018, but actually then making it happen on the floor on a daily basis in all the different teams that develop, buy, sell, or use AI, that's actually a challenge, and there's not a lot of experience. So over the past few years, we did a lot of work on that. We did a lot of training of our people so they understand the potential negative impact. We had multidisciplinary teams, ESG people, privacy people, security people, also human rights people. We came up with a questionnaire that asks the difficult questions. So if you bring something to the market, it's not only about business opportunity, it's also thinking about if the AI system makes a mistake, and it happens, it's never 100%, what is the potential impact of people, in terms of severity of the mistake, in terms of scale, how many people are affected, and in terms of probability that it might happen, And then, of course, we looked a lot of tools, because some questions you can ask by thinking, but other questions you have to ask by doing. So if you want to know whether your data is representative or whether it's biased, you need to do a lot of things with the data. So you need technical tools. And finally, we came up with a governance model in the end, because this creates a kind of new process that requires new roles, responsibilities, and actually last Friday we signed officially off our internal regulation for AI ahead of the European AI impact. Just a few things to wrap up. We identified 3 new roles that we think for ethical AI are important. First, we identified a responsible AI champion. That's the go-to person in case of challenges and questions about the ethics of AI that are in each business unit where this technology is used. We have an AI ethics expert group or committee where we discuss the hard questions. Do we need to have gender as a variable in our model, yes or no? And then we have an AI office, which is basically the change, that drives the change throughout the process.
Thank you, Richard. Definitely a lot for many other companies to learn from. And Stefano, also looking at company first, you're trying to help all of us live longer and healthier by using AI. Tell us more.
Yeah, first of all, to answer our overarching question here is like AI cannot only impact 9 billion people, but it must. It needs to be a technology unleashed to really impact the lives of humanity. And we're really at the dawn of a revolution when it comes to digital health and digital biology. And big data and AI is unleashing our understanding of the biggest disease, which is actually aging at the moment. Just to give you some numbers, Oxford, which has done the most research on quantifying the impact of aging, if we add 1 year of healthy aging to the entire US population, it's about $50 trillion of value created between cost saved and new output. So we're a Silicon Valley-based company. We're building an AI model that's based on the largest data set of super agers in the world. Super agers are people who live to 100 plus without intervention. And the data set is, we're mapping the journey from 18 years all the way to 110 and over 10,000 people. So essentially, we're building an engine that can power institutions, companies, clinics, of course, is the first target, to map the journey, the longevity journey of every human. And so it's a deep tech concept. So explain it quickly. It's almost Waze for traffic. We're trying to do the same thing for your longevity journey. So when you enter our engine, you can see your journey, not 40 kilometers down the road, but 40 years down the road, identifying your digital twins, and so what interventions and what lifestyle changes you can do to change your trajectory. We're Silicon Valley based, but we actually rolled out our technology in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, last month. So we're really working towards the Saudi Vision 2030 goals of enhancing the health span of the country. It's very important to underline health span and not lifespan. There's huge buzz around longevity, people following, billionaires trying to live forever with very restricted lifestyles. The reality is the big impact can be had on the core of the population. And luckily, Singapore set the example by showing that they have reached a status of a blue zone in the past year, life expectancy of 84 years for the entire nation. Wow. And they've done it a lot also with data they've been acquiring, and the technology that was built to acquire the data was built by one of the people who works in our team. So really working to acquire big data and impact longevity for the masses.
Wonderful. And I hope I can benefit from that
of course.
In a couple of years, well, in a dozen years. So really interesting. So turning to the investor's point of view, Jen, what are the crucial factors for you as an investor for balancing innovation, safety, and ethics in AI development? And do share with us any interesting companies in your portfolio.
Thank you. AI safety is a very big topic, but one of the reasons why generative AI, especially ChatGPT, took the world by a storm in the last year or so was because the current generative AI model really reduced the machine-human interaction into natural language. If you can speak the language, you will be able to interact with the machine. But Gen AI is very useful and very powerful, but has a lot of problems. Number one is there's an alignment problem. Ultimately, AI is calculating zeros and ones, and our human intelligence and human value especially is a result of 13.8 billion years of the entire history of the universe, and also 4 billion years of our Earth and our evolution gradually arrive how we organize ourselves, how we organize our society. So it's very hard to translate that 0 to 1, or other way around, translate our value into logic and therefore into 0 and 1. Second problem with the generative AI is the efficiency problem. So our brain, many people worry about AI is going to be too powerful, take over the world, replacing human. In fact, the most powerful, most efficient, and the most incredible computer is still the one sitting on your shoulder. And our brain consumes about 30 watts and be able to process about 100 trillion parameters, whereas with the large model today, to train a large model, a month will takes about 0.5 gigawatt of energy, and train at about 6 billion at most parameters. So those are the big questions to ask. However, within the current technical framework, there's still space we can do to balance this kind of good versus just capability. I personally don't believe large model is the future of AI, simply because you don't get to the Mars by building a taller and taller building on Earth. So what we're looking at is the type of companies that actually really being not even just right now understanding, adopting existing technological framework, but be future-proof even within the current new technology. So for example, we invest in U.com, which is the world's largest, the first Gen AI native search engine. What they do is they completely transparent in terms of privacy. Right now, if you're a company, non-tech company, but producing a lot of data, or individual, we all produce a lot of data, the last thing you want to do is to, without ask question and sending all your data into any other third-party large model. So U.com right now is empowering a lot of companies and individuals to be able to do search without giving away their privacy. We're also investing, Clear.ai is our Hong Kong local grown company. They're now the largest, fastest growth kind of SME AI company that empower SMEs in developing countries to use generative AI. So they created this tool on WhatsApp a flower shop in Brazil will be able to spend about $100 a month and be able to have a Gen AI bot to answer their customers' questions. And they're enjoying double-digit growth. So this kind of a do well, but also do good in AI is the companies we focus on.
Really interesting. And just to continue the discussion on risks and challenges, Simeon, you're one of the many people who are concerned, and you're flagging these challenges. What are your biggest concerns when you see AI, LLMs, and Web4 technology evolving so quickly, and how is Safer AI addressing these potential pitfalls?
Yeah, so I think at a broad level, my broadest concern is just like that society doesn't have the required velocity to keep up with the technology. Concretely, there are like 3 main risks I'm pretty worried about. The first risk is super persuasive AIs. In the very short run, chatbots will probably become better than humans at persuading humans of stuff. That will have deep implications. The first being for our democracies and for political campaigns that we'll probably observe within a year. So that's a first big concern. The second big concern is AI is an incredibly power-concentrating technology by default. So I think that unless we have broad and strong governance structure at an international level to redistribute benefits, AI might have not only upsides for most of the population, and a last but not least concern is, as you may have heard from voices from some of the world top AI scientists, AI might or might not, hopefully not, cause catastrophes, large-scale catastrophes within like the top 3 AI most cited scientists tell that it could happen within 10 years. Wow. That's a big worry of mine, and I've been working on risk assessment and risk management to determine how plausible that is and how to mitigate that. Safer AI, our role in this is we work on developing risk management to be able to cope with these broad range of risk, especially in large language models, and on auditing, which is kind of the operationalization of risk management in a concrete business use case.
Thank you. Really important work to keep us all in check. And so we have about 6.5 minutes left on the panel. I'd like everyone to share on what the future looks like for AI and Web4 from your unique perspective. Ying, back to you on emerging AI and Web4 trends in the context of ethics in AI. What are you most excited about?
Yeah, so I think AI, any technology, is about how to improve humanity. And it's not only about making money, but how to make people's life happier and healthier. So the big trend that I'm seeing is that AI is better at integrating and working with human. Right. So from the central place, we see that quantum computing and all the advancements in computing can enable better, faster models. And also, as we go forward, I also see the AI or generative AI, all these applications can be applied on the edge as well. So each person's phone or other wearable devices will be all AI-enabled with smaller sized model running on the edge or locally. So I think that would be totally exciting. And some of the applications that we be enabled by all these new technology changes, for example, we've invested in companies that's democratizing access of before only the professionals from the Olympic Games can access the motion analysis, how to prevent injuries. Yeah. Now with AI and cell phones, everybody can have access to this kind of expertise from people. And another one that's doing diagnostic through retina scan. Before, it costs thousands of dollars to scan all the different diseases. Yeah. But now with only one scan, based on the holistic philosophy of human body, they're able to tell 70 kinds of different diseases that people can have. So I think those are exciting areas, and we'll even go further as we progress.
Wonderful. And I'd also like to touch on AI development in the world's 2 largest economies. Jen, since you're a close watcher in this very, very competitive space, how do you compare the AI ecosystems in the US and China, and how do you expect that to play out?
Yeah. I think U.S. and China are very different. They're very different ecosystem. U.S. will always be the best in terms of 0 to 1 because the ecosystem has very patient, large amount of capital, invest in companies like DeepMind and OpenAI for many, many years without knowing what will be the product. Whereas in China, the engineers, the investors are usually much more practical. If you don't commercialize within the next 6 months, it's not going to be funded, it's not going to be coded. So, however, the China ecosystem in terms of 1 to 100 to scale, make it very affordable, make it very available to very large market, second to none. So call me naive, I actually think the two ecosystems are very complementary, and the biggest problem is in this world, as human we face from cancer, from climate change, they're not American, they're not Chinese. So if we could find a way for the two ecosystems to actually work together, I think would be great for humanity.
Thank you. And Richard, very quickly as well, how companies can stay at the forefront of AI innovation while also ensuring its technologies are accessible to a diverse population?
Yeah, of course, innovation is key for companies to stay ahead for the future. But I think what we've learned that is you have to innovate as fast as possible, but you also have to consider ethics, inclusion, and accessibility for everybody on the planet by design. Yeah? So it's not innovating as fast as possible, putting it in the market and then see, hey, is everything well? No, from every step from the beginning, you have to think, what could be the consequences if things go wrong? And actually, changing course and preventing important negative impacts is much cheaper and much quicker if you do it in the beginning than once you are in market. So I think that is a kind of mindset shift that we have to do. Yeah, people say always we also hear it today, there is a trade-off between innovation and rules and regulation. But if you do it in the traditional way, yes, but not necessarily. Yeah? It's this new way. So I would say think about use AI for people, for planet, and for profit. The three of them, that gives prosperity.
Wonderful. And Stefano, also very quickly, what challenges do you foresee in the integration of AI with healthcare, and how might that be addressed?
It's obviously a very dicey topic because one thing if somebody hacks your account and steals your photos, and one thing is if your health data is out. And we have news this week, which is pretty disruptive. 6 million DNA records have been hacked, essentially. So there is that risk, and I think Web4, decentralization, potentially blockchain applied to it could help with securing that. Computing power, and there's a lot of concerns on how that's actually done. With Jean, we'll figure it out. The other, I think it's not really a concern, it's actually an opportunity, is the data that we all have in this room is worth for humanity, one, to advance science, but also to really inform on what decisions should be taken for other people. And so essentially, that information is valuable, and we want to make sure that the people who share the data, they can have a full traceability on how the data is being used. If it has a worth, if it gets monetized, make money out of it as well. Essentially monetize your own health data as you walk, just like Lumi Health is doing in Singapore. So turn what is a real threat into an opportunity. There are concerns, but we have to be optimists, and optimists live longer.
Very nice. And lastly, Simeon, quick comment on protecting people and AI safety, a little bit overlap. What's the most effective framework to ensure ethical practices?
I think the most exciting framework is risk management in general. So risk management is something we do in every industries, starting from defining the acceptable risks we're fine with, then doing risk assessment, so assessing the level of risks, then doing risk mitigation, so dealing with this risk, and finally making sure that all throughout the life cycle we deal with this adequately. This has a lot of learning experience from other industries that can be straight away applied in AI, and that's what we're working on at Safer AI, and which I'm very excited about.
Okay, thank you so much for those wisdom. So what a great discussion, and there's really a lot for us to take away. And while we've obviously just brushed the surface of this really massive topic, we hope we've shed light on how AI and Web4 can help us build more resilient, connected, and empowered societies. Thank you to our audience for joining us in this conversation, and looking forward to our next dialogue. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.